A lot of talk's been about Jaden Daniels, and I don't know why you wouldn't talk about him. He's one of the best, most explosive, exciting playmaking quarterbacks in the country this year. And he comes to Tuscaloosa on Saturday to take on Alabama, right? He's only been slowed down for a half of football against Florida State. Why wouldn't we be talking about him? Well, I'm not saying don't talk about him. I'm just saying that the guy that you might be needing to pay a little attention to is Jalen Milroe. Have we forgotten about Jalen Milroe? Maybe we're underestimating him a little bit in this matchup. No one's talking about Alabama's offense. It's Alabama's defense against LSU's offense. But I'm going to tell you why. You better be paying attention to Milroe. But first, make sure that if you're hanging out with us, that you're part of our tailgate party. Here's your invitation. This is Bama Tailgate Daily. We talk about the Crimson Tide, and then, of course, we have the tailgate party every Friday and Saturday, and we want you guys to be there. So here's your invitation. Roll Tide. Like any good tailgate party, we're very considerate of our guests, and we have been. And we've had a lot of LSU fans on the channel this week. And hey, man, thanks for being here and watching our videos and commenting. You guys are fun. You always have been. Our relationship goes back years and years with me before you even got Nick Saban, when you guys were a middle of the road program that, you know, would win some games and lose some games, but we're never taking that seriously. Then you got Coach Saban and he turned your whole program around. And then you had a couple of bums that came in there and won championships. The last guy didn't even know what he was talking about when he was the head coach of the team, and he won one. But now you got a good coach, Brian Kelly, a lot of respect for the program. This is going to be a battle. We know that. We saw what he could do last year, but we know him from Notre Dame and playing Alabama and Notre Dame in the college football playoff. It's the tip of the cap. And Jaden Daniels transferred in from Arizona State. He's been a playmaker. We saw that he can run and throw against Alabama last year. I don't think that he was the best quarterback that we saw last year, but he was amongst those guys. And when they needed to make plays in overtime, he did that. They beat Alabama. And again, tip of the cap. All we've talked about is the fact that LSU is only a 3-point underdog. And for years, they've always been a bigger underdog. And that's because what? Alabama beat them like 10 straight years. It used to be kind of a back and forth game. And then the 2011 national championship, when the Tigers didn't get past the 50-yard line. And then after that, Alabama just found a way to beat them. But they were very competitive games sometimes. And other times they were blowouts. But last year, great game. And the Tigers won. Or as you guys might say, Tigers. Well, now you got Jaden Daniels, and they're coming to Tuscaloosa, and LSU fans feel like it's either going to be a close win for Alabama or LSU is going to blow out Alabama. Not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso would say. You're missing out on something here. You're not paying attention. Alabama's offense is pretty damn good when it wants to be. Have they put together 4 quarters of football this season? No. But you know what? The halves that they've put together have been pretty damn impressive. Last game against Tennessee, they didn't score in the first half much, and then all of a sudden they came out in the second half and they cut right through Tennessee using their weapon of choice, which is the bomb. And that's Milroe. Milroe has one of the most beautiful touches on the deep ball of all the great Alabama quarterbacks. And that's saying something when you're talking about 4 guys that start in the NFL, right? This guy's deep ball is just as good or better. So that's part of this. Now, what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? It means that Alabama's got to establish the run against the Tigers, right? We saw them do that predominantly in the second half against Tennessee with Chase McClellan. Or is it going to be Roydell Williams? Or is it Jam Miller or Justice Haynes? They've got to get the run game going. We know that the left side of the line hasn't been consistent, but it's been getting better with young star talent in those spots, right? But guys that have been overmatched, but it got better last week. It's got to be really good against LSU because Alabama's got to run the football to set up the deep ball. But the one thing that I want you guys to remember is that I have said this entire time, no matter what anybody else tells me, that Jalen Milroe did not run the football like he did at the beginning of the season during the Texas A&M game, and then the next week after that, and then the next week after that. The first game that I saw him look close to what he was able to do with the run was against Tennessee. I think there was an injury there. I think that's why the Vegas line was going all over the place before the Texas A&M game. I don't care what anybody tells me from the inside. It doesn't matter. They're not going to tell you if somebody's hurt or injured or whatever, because that's their job not to tell us. But these eyes right here saw it. And when this guy runs, he is a better runner than Daniels. He's faster because he's the fastest guy that Alabama has of a team of fast guys. And so he's explosive. We haven't seen that explosiveness. I think that's going to change against LSU on Saturday. I think he's going to rip off some big runs. I think that the deep ball is going to be there. It's been there all year long. The secondary from LSU is right now, it's depleted. They've had a lot of injuries. We've been through that at Alabama over the years. I remember there was a season where all the linebackers got hurt. We get that. But if you're Alabama, you're going to attack that secondary. And so it's up to Harold Perkins and those guys to apply pressure. Alabama gets sacked a lot. Milroe, partly his fault, and it's partly the offensive line's fault. But you know what? He gets back up like Rocky Balboa. You knock him down, he gets back up, and then he makes the next play. Nick Saban talked about it in his press conference. You got to make the next play. And this team, despite the second half against Texas, has played the next play. They haven't played 40 minutes yet, or 60 minutes, rather, but they've played good football at times. We've seen good halves. Is this the game that they put it together? I just think that we're overlooking Jalen Milroe and what he brings to the table because he's a sophomore, because he's not Bryce Young, because he's not Mac Jones, because he's not Tua, because he's not Jalen Hurts, but he's still a five-star talent with great speed and an awesome deep ball, a guy that, because I think he was slowed by injury, had to play a couple of games as a drop back passer and got the job done. And now I think he's starting to feel healthy. And I'm betting that this is the game where we see those wheels again. The intensity is going to be there. This is what it's all about. Alabama and LSU for the West. You would think, maybe not, but it could be. This is not a love affair. This is a war. These games have been that way, and I think Saturday is going to be the same way. You guys tell me what you think. Get in the comments section. All you Tigers, keep telling me why you think Alabama's going to lose. I screenshot those, and in the postgame show, I'll be popping them up there when Alabama wins the football game. We'll be laughing at you. Or if you win, we'll be crying. But no matter what, we're going to have a good time right here on the Bama YouTube channel, the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, be part of what we're doing, and roll tide, everybody.